Councilmember Groves.
Here.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yep. Right next
Councilmember
door.
Salcedo.
Here.
Councilmember Barkus.
Here.
And Mayor DeVore.
Here. Approval of the special meeting agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Discussion changes. Sue?
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Councilmember Salcedo.
Yes.
Councilmember Barkus.
Yes.
And Mayor DeVore.
Yes. Public comment. Perfect. Master plan exercise. Whoever's in charge, Andy?
That would be me, thank you. So we're going to take about an hour here, obviously prior to your regular meeting, and do an exercise that will help us as we work on drafting the updated city's master plan. As you guys know, we've been working on this project for, maybe probably longer than 6 months now, 8-9 months. And throughout this process, we've been reaching out to the public in a variety of ways, and also stakeholders within the community to get their feedback on how we're going to draft this thing, what the policies are going to be. And part of that effort is going to be having this exercise with you. We've already met with the Planning Commission and the DDA. We'll be meeting with the Parks Commission tomorrow night. And so that, along with all the other stuff that we've done, will give us a pretty good foundation for kind of coming up with ideas with, primarily with the Planning Commission coming up with ideas for, policies and direction and how the city wants to update and modify the master plan moving forward. So we have prepared a workshop activity here for you. Malia Rakestraw from Williams & Works, who I'm sure you all have met several times, is going to pass around a worksheet that will give us give us some direction. This will take about an hour, and this is a fairly straightforward kind of strength, opportunities and threats kind of activity here. So what we would like to do is have all of you, and a couple of you are familiar with this format, but what we would like you to do here is take a few minutes and think about sort of whatever your ideal future for the community is. Totally up to you, but think about not tomorrow or next week, but in 2030, 2040, 2050. Think about what your ideal future, your ideal vision for the city of Lowell would be. And then on the first page here, we have a listing of opportunities on the left-hand side and a list of threats on the right-hand side. And we want you to write down, obviously on the opportunity side, what opportunities there are that can help fulfill that vision and bring it to fruition. And then on the threat side, think about things and write down things that will prevent that vision from becoming reality or would hinder it in some way. So I think we budgeted about 5 or 10 minutes for this, so write down everything that you can think of, and then we're going to go around the table, and I want all of you to sort of give us some feedback, give us your thoughts, and what you kind of generate some discussion there about where do you see things moving in the future, and then we'll eventually prioritize these things and have you actually vote on sort of your most important opportunities and your most important threats. So for now, I'll stop talking and let you guys start writing, and I'll check back in about 5 minutes.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Are they overall threats to everything, or do you want the threats to coincide with the idea?
The threat does not have to coincide with the idea. Yeah.
Just a list of opportunities.
Okay.
Correct. They could be totally unrelated, or they could be very much related. It's up to you.
Number one says silent. We've got about a minute left, so wrap up your ideas. Go chatting.
Okay, we good? Looks like Eric was just about wrapping up here. And if you need to keep jotting down things, that's fine as we go around. And also, as we go around the room, feel free if somebody does something that you like that you didn't think of, add it to your list. So what we'll do, and Leah, we'll start with you, is let's start with the opportunity side. You're closest to me over here on the right-hand side of the table, so you could go first. Just give me one of your opportunities from your list.
I'd like to see like an interactive community scene, whether it be art, murals, something that draws people together.
Artie?
Our waterways.
Can you expand upon what you mean by that specifically?
Yeah, working with Eagle and other sources that dictate what can and can't be done on the river to see if we can't beautify what runs through our town, right? We have two rivers, so I think it's important we take full advantage of them.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
Public safety needs.
Is there anything specifically you mean by?
Fire department's gonna need to be full-time just based on call volume. We're gonna need extra police officers as the area grows. I don't know that one contracted ambulance is enough anymore,
Mm-hmm.
given hospital transport times. Equipment gets more expensive.
So the opportunity is that, is that in your mind, you're thinking about a safe community where those services are adequately provided.
Because all the
and funded.
other recreation and business and all that stuff has no value if it's not a safe place to be.
Jim?
I had housing as one of the opportunities, but there's all kinds of it. There's some affordable housing, there's single family. How do we put some of our older housing stock and convert that? I know Mike said something this week about that, but it's one of the things. How do we hit all those, and which ones do we cover?
So you're thinking about so if we're thinking about this from like an opportunities perspective, you would say like a range or diverse housing.
Market, yeah.
Okay.
How do you get
Eric?
Similar, I'd like to see more diverse housing. I'd like the master plan, the zoning to allow all kinds of different housing solutions. And haven't really any examples, but I don't want them all to look the same.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of architecture, but also in terms of like owner versus renter, single family, two family, like.
Sure,
Okay.
density, some apartments in some areas, high rises, tasteful high rises would be fine. Consider small homes, small home neighborhoods. I think that should at least be considered and, allowed for those that would like to live that way.
Leah, I'm gonna bring it back around to you.
I jotted down roads, and I also mean like redoing roads, but I mostly mean crosswalks, walkability, making sure our curbs are up to ADA code, and making our community the walkable community. We always say that it is.
Marty?
I too had parks and walkways to make it walkability between our parks and our downtown and everything else, our trail system.
Mike?
I put affordable housing on there to play off Jim and Eric.
Jim?
My opportunity, and this helps everything, is how do we maintain our schools at the high standards that we have? Why people want to come to Lowell because of our schools, and how do we get that out there, that's why you want to come here? Maybe that's why you want that more affordable home or whatever, because you got that great opportunity. So I think the education system is high on an opportunity for us.
Eric?
I'd like better transportation, some sort of shared transportation systems. Once a day to Grand Rapids or a few times a day up to the park and ride. We have employees that can't work for us because they can't get to work, and somehow they should improve that.
Leah, back around to you. And if and when you run out of ideas, just let me know, but we'll keep going until you do.
I'm going to go with some sort of local grocery or some sort of open farm market where local farmers can come in and have a place to sell. I think having one grocery is an issue for a lot of people.
Marty?
Public art.
Any specific type or location, or yes
All
to
through our
all?
downtown.
Do you feel like you have the space for the art, or are you saying the opportunity?
Yeah, like
Okay.
like the boardwalks that we have currently, and doing art displays out on our main street, like I see in a lot of communities. Grosse Isle is a very good example of that, where they had the downtown reached out to an artist, and they came in and they did murals on certain buildings, and it looks way cool how they did it. There's the Steve McQueen Mustang on one building. There's pirate ships on another, and they had a good time with it. And it is really neat to go to Grosse Isle and see that kind of stuff. Plus, they've done sculptures by local artists and display them on their main street.
Thank you. Mike?
How about public services? How about water and sewer and DPW and light and power, if you want people to come here? Those are three pretty good reasons that you need to maintain why they want to come here.
Do you mean that you already have quality or you have the opportunity?
Yeah, you have to maintain it, but
Mhm.
quality costs money. It's not, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Jim?
I had limited growth within the city. That could be an opportunity, but it also could be a threat because it's got to go somewhere. So I think if we maintain healthy growth throughout the city, and then once we do fill up, that growth will only happen out in the township. So I think that's important that we have that development here that's going to drive even the growth outside of it because they want to be here in this
Mhm.
area.
Okay. Eric?
More senior housing, the Schneider Manor, the 12-year waiting list, that's just not acceptable. We need to do better than that.
Leah, back to you.
I wrote down commitment to community, and I mean that in an ongoing way. The city of Lowell operates a lot on volunteer time and people who show up and care about it. And how do we maintain that, but also influence people to be involved? How do we make it to be something people want to be involved in? Sometimes I don't think we sell it very well, myself included.
Excellent. Marty?
Parking.
Opportunity or threat?
Our downtown is vibrant. At any given time, if anybody's tried to park in our downtown during the afternoon when everything is up and running, it went from our parking lot behind my business was generally easy to get into to overwhelmingly packed. We do have additional parking, but we need to do a better job of explaining that it is not King Milling's personal parking lot. That is a city parking lot, even though we do have a sign there. And there's multiple spaces in there that go unused.
Would you call that an opportunity or a threat? I just want to clarify.
Both.
Okay. Opportunity to,
Better advertise what we have available.
Yep.
So people use it.
Yep.
so perhaps.
And it's a threat because we don't have enough of it. We're just lacking in the getting it out.
See, I think the opportunity there would be to influence people to walk our very
Yeah.
walkable city,
Yeah.
whereas the threat would be the parking they don't feel we have.
What plays into Eric's transportation
Yeah,
stuff
bring it.
too.
Yeah.
Bring in the shuttle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to score points with Harry or what?
Mike, do you have more?
I put roads and streets, but we talked about that ad nauseam. So my last one would be river-based recreation. Because we've had talks plenty of times with kayak rental, tube rental, water trail people, and then they all kind of just dissolve. And then winter comes and we forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Summer comes and all of a sudden it's a good idea again.
Yeah, pretty much everything else I had on my list, that these guys have covered from rivers, the walkability, the park expansions, housing, to you name it. So we all got quite a few things. So,
Yeah. Is there anything new within the group that we haven't said yet?
Eric may have some.
What are you thinking? I got a couple more. And they mostly go along with what we've been talking about. I think city appearance, I think that we look like a small hometown town, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that there's places where we could annually be cleaning up and making presentable all of the time. Not to say that it's not presentable. Super clean, cleaner. I want to make Lowell, and I think this works off, the chamber slogan and all of that, but I want to make Lowell a place people want to be. I want people to come here, and I want people to, they don't have to live here, but I want them to come back, and I want them to be repeat customers. I want them to use our trails. I want them to shop in our shops. How do we do that is every time that they come, it looks the exact same cleanliness, whether it be paint on rails, potted flowers, cleaned up landscaping, all of that. And then I also wrote, which is in the works, is the Lara Trail.
Marty or Mike or Eric, do you have anything that we haven't?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm full.
I had a few more. Better river access, similar to what we already said. I love Marty's idea about reusing the 990 North Washington as a new park area, like kayak access there, a better water system, remodeled downtown. I'd like us to better use the upstairs apartments in the downtown. We talked about that. And I'd like to make it easier for the owners to do that. I'd like to possibly consider an expanded downtown. The downtown's wonderful, but it's pretty small. I don't know, as we grow, maybe we control how the growth of the downtown looks, so it all looks cool. And I'd like cooperation with the townships. Indianapolis, I think, did a really good job of growth by all the suburbs got together and worked together on their growth. I'd like to see that continue here. And I also put more art in the downtown, like Marty already said.
Okay. All right, excellent. This is a great list. We're going to switch over to the threats side now. So if it's okay, Leah, we'll start with you again.
Sure.
So just give me something from your list of threats.
I think I wrote it 5 or 6 times. The cost of things.
Cost of living, doing business.
Cost
all
of
people.
living, cost of food, cost of buying property. As far as affordable housing, the cost of time, energy, commitment, buyers.
Okay. Marty?
Our lot size, sitting on planning, I know what our minimum lot size has to be. We do have an opportunity to put more housing on the footprint, which would give us more cheaper housing because you're building 2 instead of 1, and it would make it a more affordable housing for our lot sizes if we could shrink it.
New and additional funding sources is a threat.
So a lack of those? Jim?
Believe it or not, I wrote down political unrest that we have in the nation today. You may not, maybe it doesn't affect this council, but it affects a lot of other things that happen outside our city, which can be affected by that outcome. So I'm really think that's something. Can I address it? I can say it tonight and speak about it, but I really wouldn't know where to begin on that thing. But I do believe it's a threat globally, not just here, but just how we act today and tomorrow.
Sure. Eric?
Lowell is full. This is for growth. We're full. Everything's taken. We have no empty space. We're going to have to establish programs or grants or encouragements so that current owners want to upgrade or change for the better, I guess, if they want to.
So the threat there you're thinking is sort of like a lack of, I don't want to say turnover, because that's not, but just like, is that what you mean, like a lack of ability to grow and accommodate new people, or?
I think it'd be, are you getting at a lack of resources and funding for business owners or homeowners to help them get the money to do what they need to do?
Yes.
Not that the city, or not that everything's built out already, just clarify.
That's on my list of threats, is lack of space for growth, because we're landlocked.
Okay, just making sure I have
Yes,
those.
the things that are developable are developed, most of them.
Well, part of my thought is also we're landlocked,
Yep,
plus what Marty just said.
Okay.
great, thank you.
Leah?
I think a real threat is helping the community understand the importance behind these things. There's importance behind interactive art or making the city more appealing and spending money on that. There's importance behind making sure our crosswalks and our roads are walkable and safe. for our community. There's importance behind local grocery, there's importance behind affordable housing and putting money into that. So like really driving the idea that it's not just because we want to spend money or are seeking money to spend on things, it's that we want the community to continue to thrive even once we're all done.
Mhm.
So really driving home the importance of investing interest in our city.
Marty?
That street right down there, M21, the way we have to fight constantly to keep our speed limit at 25 through our city. To me, it is way too fast coming in, and then it's a sudden slowdown. I'd like to see the state extend the slow outs out farther, so we're slowing down more when we come in. Benton Baker's a prime example of playing Frogger, right? When they had the main dealership on the one side, and they'd have to cross. Their salespeople had to literally play Frogger to cross, and we watch customers and pedestrians try to cross the street all the time, and some of the speeds that are coming, the state needs to allow us just to dictate what goes on 21 per speed.
Thank you. Mike?
So I'm trying to find a polite way to say this, but inherited problems and the cost that inevitably comes with procrastination, or if you don't do something today, it's 30% more expensive tomorrow and going forward. And a lot of cans have been kicked, and now it's time to, if you want a viable master plan, where you have a chance to achieve some of your opportunity, you can't procrastinate on it. Is that polite?
Well stated, I think.
Okay.
Jim?
I have another one that's bigger than that. I put down global warming. I mean, last year we were in a watering ban situation, and how do we hopefully prevent that from happening? Plenty of rainfall, you don't worry about it, but when it happens, you know, there's a lot of things that happen. People grow gardens, they rely on that food to process some of their winter things to help save costs and all that stuff. So to me, it is happening. I mean, I see it, but again, I don't have an answer, but just put it on the list of threats that are out there.
Eric?
This has to do with just knowledge of what is available to help cities grow. And kind of what I mentioned a little bit at the Planning Commission, there are so many different grants and programs and neighborhood enterprise zones, and I just got totally confused. So we're going to need someone, and I'm glad, I think the Planning Commission does a good job of staying on top of these things, but I got totally confused with trying to navigate this, all of the steps to develop a city.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need technical expertise in that area, and a real champion or a company, a group to help us with that. It's very confusing for most people.
Leah?
Everybody's pretty much covered what I said. Funding, time, importance, understanding, cost.
Marty, do you have any other you want to add?
Yeah, even though waterways are an opportunity, waterways are also a threat. It's Eagle that is our biggest threat. Eagle won't allow us to even remotely touch anything along the river.
Can you pull the branches out?
Yeah, you can't even pull the trees and the branches out, right? So I truly believe that Eagle clamping down so hard on waterways is a huge threat, especially for us in our area.
Disseminating information, right? There's so many different ways to find out answers. Not all of them are accurate, right? So the problem is you can tell people what you think or what you feel, or even if it's factually based, but they've already got their mind made up because they read it somewhere else or saw it somewhere else. What are you doing? You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
When people are mad about something, their mind is already made up.
Well, you're fighting a game of telephone, right?
Yeah. So that's a struggle, because there's not one streamlined way. There's not 3 TV channels or 1 radio station. To streamline factually based information, there's 100 different ways to get it.
Well, really, there is one. They could watch a YouTube video of our meeting.
Ideally. But that's also, like, it's our responsibility, I think, to not make people beholden to one source of information, right? Like, not everybody has, when we sit here, or Light and Power sits here, or planning sits here for 2-3 hours, not everybody has time to sit down and YouTube that, right?
Mhm.
So, as much as I think people bear a responsibility to get the facts, we bear even more of a responsibility to give them ample opportunity to get that information, which I don't always think we're successful at.
Maybe put it out into print, but do like Reader's Digest version of it, right? Where you're just taking the highlights and,
But there's 100 different ways,
yeah.
and there's not one of them will reach everybody you want to reach,
Yeah.
especially people who already have them.
Jim?
Well, one of the things that we keep hearing about is how other communities receive $20 million, $10 million, and yet we at Lowell never seem to be able to get to that part that we're getting the federal or the state dollars. So I don't know if it's a threat or maybe something. Do we get an advocate that's going to go there and deal with this, other than, I know the city manager has some of that responsibility, but do we look at finding somebody else that could do that on a regular basis and meet with Molinar and Gina Jensen and the political part of it, and have that for us to meet and get some of these things that are happening? Mike, I don't know,
It might be worth, honestly,
I'm
you know.
just throwing it out there.
I mean,
You're hitting home runs today.
yeah, I know, I'm making friends and influencing people today. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, the problem with revenue is, I mean, I love you, $20 million revenue, and things like that, but we've been lucky to get some of the things we get, but
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff, we're not economically depressed enough, and we manage our finances and we manage our resources well, and I don't think it's a sound ethical practice to start going the other way. You know, maybe something to think about is maybe hire a lobbyist. I mean, there's some communities that do that. I know there's a number of communities in the UP that do that.
Something
Maybe
to
that's an
think-
idea.
Something to think about, just
Ah,
put it out there
yeah.
so we could, take advantage of it if we can.
Yeah, it seems to me it's the communities that have gone sideways, right?
Mhm.
They're the ones that the feds and the state are just pouring millions
They
into.
got people out in front of them telling
Yeah.
them, we suffer, we suck, we can't do it, so we need you. So
And we're
maybe we don't say we suck, but we
When
can probably
there's,
ask.
when there's something to save, there's a bit of a superhero complex there as well, right?
Yeah.
If I can do this and get my name on the
Yeah.
paper, and then I'm the superhero that
Mm-hmm.
comes in,
Yeah.
publicity sells.
Can I clarify on that? Do you mean unsuccessful in acquiring grants, or do you kind of mean more of what Eric was talking about earlier, is not knowing some of those grants that you
Sometimes I guess it's not knowing that having just the time to go doing it, and because they can change daily probably, or hey, it's available today, it's available this date, just getting that information back to us so we can at least apply for it, or whatever it is, stay in front of it. We don't have anybody in Washington or even in the state capitol on our behalf very often. But when we do try to get together for our ML meetings and talk to, last time we had our legislation come and join us at the breakfast, and we had a little conversation, but, it's like talking to Andy and expecting to get $20 million from the state. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you get 10 minutes of their time when they sit with you, and then, oh, excuse me, I have other people I need to go see. So you have to be very quick, and they tend not to remember because they're just trying to meet as many people as possible. So that's my experience of what we go through.
Eric, do you have anything else you want to add?
Flooding is a big problem. If I look 20, 30 years, 40 years down the line, we need to do something to improve the flooding, and that will help everything about the city. And I agree with Marty about Eagle cracking down on the river, but Grand Rapids built up barriers, flood control. Portland, I think, is having a new redesign of their whole river walk, so I think we should continue to think about making that land better usable, especially Rec Park.
Leah, do you have anything else you want to add, or are you all good? Marty?
Oh yeah, my last one, FEMA. FEMA decided a new floodplain for the entire city. They just said, this is it. We don't care what you think. And it affects businesses, homeowners. It affected a lot of people. We have tried very hard, Mike and I, to correct the problem. And basically, lack of a better word, we heard no response. So to me, that's telling us, we don't care.
We heard no response, and then we got a letter saying you're welcome.
Yes.
You didn't help.
There you go. So FEMA doing that with no,
Input from the people that affect.
Consideration.
they didn't even look at the current floodplain that we have. They just said this is the new floodplain and that is it. That affected a lot, everybody on the river's edge, everybody. So it's not just a few people, it was a lot of places. I don't know how that river could jump up that high on that side of the river, but apparently.
What, 10 feet high?
Huh?
10 feet?
12.
I mean, is that what they raised to 10 feet height?
They went, I believe they went an additional, what was it, 10 feet, Mike? Up and down both sides of the river, which affects everybody, irregardless if you're a landowner on it, you're now affected by this new FEMA law, so they don't care. So there you go.
Again, that's where I think one of those lobbyists might help. Not only is it could get that, but FEMA and anybody else who are having big issues with it, that might can.
But we did try, trust me, we spent a lot of time and energy, Mike and I did, diving into this and trying to correct the problem. And yeah, we got a letter that stated, you know, glad we could help, and then nothing. So there you go. That's to me, that is our biggest threat.
Okay. Mike, do you have anything else?
I don't have any more political ones.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, if there's, everyone has everything on their list. So now comes the part where, so we're gonna have, I told you to have your electronic devices available. What we're going to do is have you sort of prioritize your top three. So on the back of the sheet that we passed around, we have a website to go to. So we're going to do a brief Mentimeter, so go to menti.com, M-E-N-T-I. And then when you do that, it'll ask you for an access code, which you punch in the 8-digit code on the page here, or you can just scan the QR code on the back of the worksheet if you don't want to take one in.
That is not on Phoenix.
I'll just let you write in.
Well, that's all I got. It won't, it doesn't do anything else. I can heart it, but I don't.
Okay, yeah, so then you're fine. Yep,
Yeah.
you're good.
Why can't you get mine to go?
Didn't know what to do.
Cannot open this page because the server cannot be found.
You're zoomed in.
You're not connected to the internet on your iPad, probably.
Go to the settings. Let's see. Probably
This
have
part
mine.
remembers.
Oh, I'm good, no.
Okay, so you got the code. You got
Connect to
the
this. Says LLPR2.
There you go. I
This
got
is
you.
what-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's try. Oh, that wasn't me. I did look though.
So I will advance the slides on this once
I did.
everyone's connected to it.
Oh, my God, we're dead here. We wouldn't be having this meeting.
No, I I'm with you.
We're trying to
bridge
Put
is
it
out.
in. Look, there you go.
There we go. What was it? So this number right here?
Yeah, you can wait. Technology, am I right? Maybe I should put aging population as one of our friends.
It's one of our opportunities. for new
Yeah, that's
people.
true, yep, you're right.
His code's not working.
Okay, here.
You probably kicked him out after last time.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So it's not me, it's
Apparently there's that information.
They're on the code.
All right. Y'all pick another one.
No,
That would be my bad.
no, I hate it. Why did you show me?
Oh, I was
Make it
gonna say
depressed
this
at a
is
meeting?
59.
Yes, he is in the clinic.
I actually wasn't even
Oh, I see.
doing a bad way. I don't love it.
Yeah, but it makes me sad, now I'm sad.
It's a different group, so we have a different sheet, so we don't have duplicate.
Yeah, we don't
It's a
want to
response. I'd rather get it from you. I
Okay,
guess.
so I think, is everybody logged in? We good?
He's
Okay.
the greatest.
So we have a test, so we're gonna do a test slide, so this is like an interactive polling thing.
Okay.
So just to make sure it's working, we just want you to simply vote for, who's a good dog, you can only
You
pick
need
one.
to choose one of these?
Yes, you have to
I know
choose
it's a hard
one.
decision.
It is.
No,
This
my
one-
dog.
Yes.
Smiley
No,
dog.
Okay, man,
You
huh?
just ate.
Okay.
Andy, you haven't changed slides yet according to this.
Oh,
Let's see to
where's-
make it true, that's not true.
All right, there, how's that?
That's perfect. I mean, it doesn't give us any guidance, but that's okay. Okay, so, continuing here, so this should advance on your phone, so we want you to prioritize, so out of all the opportunities that you guys listed, and you all had a bunch, we want you to type in your first, second, and third ranked opportunities one at a time. So start with whatever is your number one opportunity, and just a few words, summarize, some of you guys have, more expansive thoughts, but if you can summarize that into something that you can easily punch in here,
And I will say
it'll
too,
show up on the screen. Go ahead.
just to the audience, I think this is just for council.
Yes.
So, I just think, we had 6.
Will there be public comments afterwards?
Yes, there can be public comments if we have time, I think.
There.
If anybody wants.
It says on the agenda we can before we
Come
vote.
in.
Okay. Well, somebody else did that. I'm assuming that was me.
Either one of you use punctuation.
It's not.
Do you have an explanation?
As long as we can figure out what it says when this is all done, we'll be good.
Oh, I know.
There's somebody
I'm
else.
surprised they had been during the
It was a nice activity because then you guys can all see, where Vermont's is standing in terms of prioritization.
Yeah.
Who's selecting these?
What do you?
Who's selected PS and this one and this one? Because that sure doesn't seem like it was me.
Did you type in your answer?
No,
Oh, okay, I'll just put your answer.
I tried to, but that's just,
I didn't hear the last one, so.
Oh, you got it, just.
No, I didn't.
No, yeah.
okay, that's what I thought. And then I hit submit, what I thought.
I saw a QR code early on, and I
I
thought,
should have done this for no one.
Okay, there you go.
some user error might
Caught
happen.
up.
It did.
Yeah, but down here?
So
Yeah, why don't
just-
we-
Oh, right there, right there. Okay,
Instead.
gotcha. Okay.
Well, you could have done the penny exercise.
I did.
But okay, well, see, then you have to do the penny exercise at the
That would
expo.
motivate me to use all your pennies.
Okay, there you go.
Well, the thing with the penny exercise is you're limited by the topics. Here,
Yeah, that's true. With the penny exercise, there's a maximum of 10 things that we can come up with. Okay, so there's the duplicate in there, but that's okay, we know what it means. Okay, so,
Maybe I did do it in a kid.
all right, so what about your number 2 opportunity?
Oh,
So we're gonna go through first, second, and third opportunities, and then first, second, and third threats, and then time permitting, we will put together some kind of a vision statement at the end here based on what you told us.
Yes. Was first.
So Mayor DeVore was first again.
Yeah.
Roads and utilities.
Can be a duo, have 2 in there.
We're gonna have one more chance for another opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not that fast. Yeah,
I
I guess
mean-
technically roads and.
Waterway,
Yeah,
just
so I
one on
mean-
both of them.
It's,
I put it
it's preferable to have, at least a similar theme. I mean, the whole point of all this is to try to prioritize this down into what's really, really critical in your opinion. Affordability. And then your third priority opportunity is next, then we'll switch over and do the same thing on the threats side.
So good at this game. Now I'm really good at this game.
You must do a lot of texting.
When I throw your phone down that hallway. No, I sure will.
I forgot.
Yeah. You're just picking it up and trying to guess who's this is.
Yeah. So we have affordable housing, cost of living, public art, waterways for reuse, and walkability, parks through city, and good growth. So now we're going to do the same thing on the threat side. So we're kind of seeing some common themes here, right? So housing, affordability, recreation, walkability, things like that. And this is similar to when we did this with both the DDA and with the Planning Commission. There were some different topic areas, but in both instances, there were always some ideas